What's going on, YouTube? We're back at it for another video, and today we've got the best stash spots inside of the Wild Island Zone. This one is going to be a little bit smaller than some of the other locations, but it still has some fairly decent loot and some that you can easily kind of look over in certain moments. But that being said, let's jump straight into it, and our first location that we're going to be going to is just at the beginning point when we first cross over this small little building right here. We'll have some decent loot that we'll need to grab up. Now, once you're over at the building location, we'll just need to head on over, and do be careful, as there'll probably be some of those bloodsuckers you'll have to deal with when you first get out here. But once we get inside of here, we'll be able to just run on in. Oh god, we've got one of those bloodsuckers already. But if we head... oh god, where's it at? Hold on, boys. Alright, once you've dealt with the pests that you may have walked up upon, we'll have to just head on over this little bridge over here, and we'll just need to pop a little bolt over this way and then jump across, and we'll be able to access a new gas mask as well as some loot over here. But the new gas mask may be a little bit better than the one you've got right now, as well as giving you a little bit more of that radiation protection. I'm just going to pop this on myself, as it is better than the gas mask I have right now. But let's head on to the next location. Or before we head over to the next oh god. Before we head over to the next location, there's also one thing to note, and it's the simple fact that you can climb up on this tower and get a little bit of loot out of that, but it's more resources. But we'll just let you find that out for yourself. Now, the next stash spot that we're going to hit is just over to the north side of the island, just underneath this sunken barge over here. We'll have a little bit of radiation waste contamination over here. That's going to be a whole bunch of barrels. You'll know it once you see it. But we'll also have one enemy to deal with over here, so do be ready for that. But let's head over there now. Now, once you see all these different barrels in front of you, you'll know you're at the right location, but do be aware, we have to make this very clear. We're about to face off with a very dangerous enemy that can end up shielding himself. Maybe you've faced off with him before, maybe you haven't, but this guy can be pretty irritating. I highly suggest just tossing a couple of nades in, try and get some damage in on this guy early, before you end up seeing him, as it's gonna be this old guy right here. Then watch out for him throwing stuff. Your best bet to actually fight this guy and make it super easy is to just sit over here on this corner over here and wait for his shield to go down, and then just unload into his face as much as possible. And try to avoid every bit of his damage beyond that, because he does have grenade launchers that he ends up spawning. So this guy can be a big pest. But you have to wait until his shield's down in order to get that damage in. Which I think he ended up just killing himself. So sometimes you can get a little bit lucky, but it is super dangerous, and fair warning, there will be another one you'll have to fight after we get the loot inside, so do be mindful that you would want to have some extra med kits, some decent amount of ammo, or at least decent weapons in order to actually make it through this portion to get this stash. But over here, we'll be grabbing up a silencer, and we'll also be getting a blueprint for the SEVAD suit, giving us the capability of having a little bit more resistance when it comes down to physical protection. This will be something that just increases our capability of getting the actual physical protection on a piece of armor. But on top of that, we'll also have that silencer, which is going to be nice, and a good bit of loot on top of this. And then just after, we'll end up having to deal with the second of these guys, which, do be careful, this is gonna, and god, I hate this guy, as he will be taking your weapon and then using it against you. Yeah, I didn't have this happen the first time, but yeah, this is... I hate this guy. Best bet here is literally come over to this corner, and then you're gonna want to try and... oh god, he's throwing stuff at me again. You're gonna want to try and actually get around him. Just try to run around him and do the same thing that we did the first time. This is your best bet. Just run past him, get over to here. Make sure you save before this, honestly. And then just get that angle on him, and just unload into that face. But he's got the same grenade launcher as the other guy. We'll have to wait till his shield's down again. Should be going down right about now. Ah, here we go. And then just unload into him. But he's still going to be dangerous. So do keep that in mind. Little bitch. The next stash spot that we have is going to be up north towards the waste processing station. It'll actually be in the bottom right corner at this small building over here, and we'll need a code in order to access it, but let's head over there now. Now, once you've made it over to the little building, you'll just need to walk in, and the code we're going to need to type in is 2711. Oh, goodness, every time playing on a PlayStation controller, so when it says X every single time, I think it's just jump. But inside here, we'll be able to gain access to another gas mask, as well as some loot over here on the right side. This may be something that could end up benefiting you in the long run if you haven't found a better gas mask just yet. This one actually has psychic protection, which is going to be huge for us, as I will be throwing this on myself. I'm definitely going to need this in the future, and from this point, when it comes down to the main story and some of the mutants you'll be facing off with, this will be something that does end up helping you quite a bit, and some of the anomalies we'll be facing in the future. So you definitely want to pick this one up on your way over to the waste processing plant, as this is a part of the main quest line. Now from that location, we'll actually be heading over to this broken bridge over here, as there's another loot spot that we'll need to head over to here for, which is going to be a stalker's stash at the very end of it inside of a car. Now let's head on over there. Now once you've made it to the beginning of the bridge, make sure to get that bolt out, as we're going to need to utilize this in order to get rid of some of those anomalies in our way. We'll have one just right here, and then we'll be able to jump across. And do be careful, as there's going to be some mutants underneath, but after we've jumped across, we won't have much to deal with. But if you got a couple of grenades, you might as well just toss them down there. Try to get rid of these as quickly as possible. They're not the most dangerous. That grenade toss wasn't the greatest, but you should be able to take those out before having to deal with them directly in your face, if you're able to just perch up right there and take them out. Now this is going to be the location where we'll actually be grabbing up the loot, and we'll actually have a full durability shotgun, as well as some ammo for it as well. But that's the big reason I pointed this one out, as we're just going to get a full durability shotgun that has the capability of either being sold for coupons, or you can just fully upgrade this yourself and get some use out of it. Especially if your shotgun's already broken, might not be the worst thing to have a second one as a spare, especially with these repair costs. Now once you've dealt with the mutants, our last and final stash spot that we'll be getting for the Wild Island is going to be just over here on the right. This is going to be the final one we'll need, and you'll notice we have two other stash spots right over here. I would highly suggest not going for these. This one is going to be in a highly irradiated zone that you just do not need to deal with, and it's only a couple of resources that you'll grab out of it. And this one is in a whole psychic mess that will start spawning in enemies and throwing things at you, and not be in any way, shape, or form worth it at all. Whereas this one will be the final one that will give us some actual loot that is worthwhile for either coupons or giving ourselves a little bit of additional armor. But that being said, there will be some enemies we'll have to deal with over here, so make sure you've got the ammunition and some health before going into this one. And once you've made it over to this farm and you've actually cleared out all of the enemies inside, there will be multiple inside, as well as a couple of them outside. I believe about 2 or 3 outside, about 4 on the inside you'll have to clear up. You'll find yourself at a little bit of a locked room right here with some interesting zoo animals inside. Now, what we'll want to do is immediately just kill these before we actually start heading in, as you don't want to release these on yourself. They can be quite troublesome to deal with, like any one of the mutants. So we'll just want to put as many rounds into them as possible until they're done, and then over here on the left wall, we'll just need to hit this switch right here, and we'll be able to gain access to the room. And inside here, we'll be getting a little bit of loot on top of having the capability of grabbing up a new set of armor that should be in here. And it'll be right back here. There it is. We've got the mercenary suit. Now, the mercenary suit isn't the greatest, as it will only have one slot for the artifacts, but it will have a little bit more of that radiation protection and physical protection. So it's one of those things that you can either just sell off for coupons or possibly upgrade a little bit later, as one of the big things about it is the simple fact that it is much lighter. It is only 3 kg, and this is something that does end up benefiting you in the long run, especially if you are a loot hoarder or loot goblin like myself. But that's going to be it for the Wild Island's best stash spots. If there's any that I possibly missed, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll definitely pin your message up there. I believe this is about everything that you will get out of the Wild Islands. It's a bit of a smaller section, and the rest of the good loot is going to be from the main questline portions, which I'll be doing guides on some of those main quests here in the coming future, so hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see more of this content in the future. Let me know if you've been enjoying the game as well down in the comments below. Let me know what type of loot you're finding and what is your favorite weapon at this time. With that being said, if you'd like to see more of this content in the future, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to see some of this content live, hit that link down in the description below. And on that note, have a good one.